Well, here we go, folks. It's time to go live. Let's do this thing. This is let's see, season 4, episode 13, Office Hours Arbitrage. I'm joined by QE Intelligence, who is oops, I always get this wrong. He's here on my screen. So
here.
QE built a very interesting dashboard. Now we've got a number of dashboards from various users. This one I like a lot because the dashboard gives you the ability to do kind of meta analysis on the tournament, which a lot of the other ones were model specific. So that's one thing that I like about what QE's done, but also it's fairly easy to use. Some of the other ones are kind of painful, if you will, but this is an interesting one. And I was very interested to find out about QE, what motivated them to build it, and get to know them a bit. So what we'll do is we'll go through the famous interview questions, get to know QE_intelligence, and then they're going to do a demo for us. So I'm pretty stoked. You want to get started, QE? How about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead.
Awesome. So we have some famous interview questions, but I want to know, where do you live, sir?
Well, I think I mentioned it to you before, but I live in the Netherlands. I'm the guy from Rotterdam. Maybe you remember that.
Yes, I certainly do. But this is your episode, so we have to talk about you as if it's the first time.
Europe, the Netherlands.
Okay, so you are in Rotterdam. That's awesome. What do you do for a living?
So currently I work for an ICT company as a technical consultant. Okay. And this company specializes mainly in Microsoft products and services, cloud-based, and also modern work-based and all kinds of other stuff. But also the data and the big data and the AI department, which I also currently work at. So yeah, Power BI, of course, that's why the dashboard is in that. Is from the Microsoft.
Right. Makes sense. Cool. So what compelled you to pursue your current job?
So yeah, I've always been software engineer, actually, my whole life. So I did electrical engineering at the University of Delft, but all the jobs after that were always somewhat software related. Before this job, for example, I worked at also at the airport, more industrial automation, but still more like PLCs, and also C# software development. But after I think 4 or 5 years ago, I wanted to change and I wanted to work more towards cloud-based. So I was really curious at that time about Azure, and current company I work for, they just started advertising. I said, like, look, we need software engineers. We're going to do Azure. Come join us. And that's actually how I got to the current job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But what you described is more kind of like a software development role, this tournament being more data science-esque. How is your skill set complementary to both?
Yeah, so yeah, actually I do a lot. So originally I did more actually in the hardware software development, so more the integration style, and slowly more and more shifting towards pure software development. And after a couple of years, like 4 or 5 years ago, big data, and I was also super interested in the AI at the time, machine learning. So I slowly started doing more and more. Also. Personally, with just projects I'm doing at home, but also, of course, with my work now professionally. So yeah, data scientist, that's one of the things I didn't do yet. So that started actually, yeah, basically last year.
Awesome. So speaking of data and data science, Rigorov gave us a preview on their noteboard and said the daily scores are out. In fact, they are. So if you're watching this live, scores are out for the classic tournament. Thanks for that. So let's continue on with our questions. Generally speaking, I'd say 99% of my guests are workaholics, but please tell me you do something other than work for fun.
Well, lately it's fun. It really feels like
Here we go.
Actually.
Oh man, I cannot.
I must say, since I lived together for a couple of years now, family, and then you need to take the time off, right? But yeah, fortunately, I also have them, my girlfriend and son. So they will occupy my time.
Okay, so you are a family man.
Yeah.
And you do family man things for fun.
Sure.
Go to the park with the kids. Go
to trips, right? Holidays. But yeah, also just go to the zoo, just go to the movies. Well, of course,
like movies?
Okay. So it was a bit different, but you know what I mean. Sure. And actually, I think it's also important to do that kind of stuff too, not just only work.
Thank you, because that's what I was getting at. So you are a real human, and you do things that are fun, not just work. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I just wanted to make sure, because like I said, 99% of my guests, they're generally workaholics. So
Yeah, I do have that urge to work also.
yeah,
So,
no, I mean, I get it. We tend to like to tinker and experiment. So I get it. I get it. I have a interesting question. You know, it's relative, so it depends on your own personal assessment of it. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you? Let's see.
Okay, let's say I'm a 6 or a 7 out in the open, but maybe when no one's looking, it's going to 11.
Turn that dial all the way and then turn it one more notch. And we found our weirdest person has ever admitted that they're an 11 out of 10. But what makes you weird, friends? What makes you weird? I don't think you're weird.
No, I think I'm also, mostly of the time I'm okay, but I think sometimes I will have weird moments, I guess. Do weird stuff, put some music on, do some weird dance, that kind of stuff. Blow off the steam, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could always Zoom from your car like Alex is doing, but yeah, that's a little weird. Just please don't drive and Zoom. That's my big ask. Okay. I want safety among all my friends out there. Let's be safe, Alex. Thank you. Thanks for hopping on too, by the way. So all right, you say you're weird. What are you not very good at, friend?
I'm pretty sure I'm not good at multitasking, but I guess that applies to a lot of men, right? So but also the other thing I'm usually not good at is the artistic style, and also like be creative with names and all that kind of stuff. And actually my son is really good at it, but not me. No.
Yeah, I share that sentiment quite a bit. I lack the art gene. Didn't get it. Not my forte. But hey, you know, it's all good. So you're not very good at the art. Any particular type of art that you're particularly bad at?
You definitely should not look at my drawings, I guess.
Yeah, I'm terrible too. I have terrible hand-eye coordination. That's also why I'm bad at sports.
So. Maybe it's so bad I could maybe make an NFT out of it. Maybe it will work. I don't know.
Put on OpenSea. You never know. You never know. That's funny. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would you put on it and why?
Okay, so billboard can have two sides, right? Because if I drive past the billboard, I can look at front, but sometimes that's back.
Okay. You're the first one to claim both sides, so that's cool.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
But so, what are you going to put on it?
So, okay, let's the front side, right? Balance your life, I guess.
Balance your life.
Yeah, especially the last couple of years, I noticed that, and we talked about the working, being an addict, but I also noticed that it's really important to also balance your work days and weeks and months, and try to also not only work but also do some sports and also do some study or learning and also go out and that kind of stuff, and try to remember that you actually also do it, because I also noticed that after a couple of months I tend to work more, right? And for example, walk less. Yeah,
that's easy to do with computer work. So that's what's on the front of it. What's on the back of the billboard?
Okay, how about this one? Learn, or else you will burn.
Learn, or you shall burn.
Or you shall burn. Because yeah, that's what I also found out the hard way. So.
All right, I'll take it. Hey, it's your billboard, so you can put on it whatever you want. I like that you have a motivational quote in the front, and then a quasi motivational. Like, I think that's a little demotivating, but like, you know, it's cool. Whatever, it's your billboard, so I'm not going to judge. I want to get to know about you and Numerai in the tournament. When did you start participating?
So I was doing exams for Microsoft, actually also the data science exams they have, and but after I did that, it's like, okay, I think I need some more than just do the study, and I think that was in March, I think. So after March I started. Okay,
so but recently.
Yeah, 250, I think 257 or something.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, newbie.
Making a splash though. We love to see it. We love to see it. How did you find out about the Numerai tournament?
Yeah, well, like most people probably on the internet, I was looking at after the exams for so for example, stuff like Kaggle I saw also. And I think when I Googled, I also saw the Numerai coming by. It's like, maybe this is more interesting, especially, of course, the hardest tournaments. Like, okay, so I can skip the easy ones and just go straight for the final.
Oh, workaholics.
Yeah, but also the way it was set up, right?
Yeah.
That it takes longer, and also that you have the ranking, and also that's somehow still connected with crypto, and also the sharing of information.
Yeah.
And if I compare that to Kaggle, which usually there are some that are longer, but usually they are like 7 months and then it's over.
Right, a one and done.
I think this one I can just continue for a long time, maybe.
Yep, it's perpetual, and what once worked often stops, and then you have to go back to the drawing board, which is, yeah, it's okay. It is what it is. Let me ask you this: what do you wish you had known when you started out in the tournament?
So I don't have any financial background, and I think because it also promotes the tournament also promotes that you can enter it without having that financial background, right? Basically,
That's right.
You should be, but actually, it's just still found out that some concepts like volatility and regime change and all that kind of stuff, which was for me unfamiliar, is still something I only learned later. So I wish I would have still known that earlier, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. You know, I take for granted all that stuff because my background is in finance. And so it's hard for me to even consider that as a roadblock just because of my own priors. So that's why I like to ask this question, because everybody has a different, different background before they enter. And so everybody gives a different answer. And I love it. It's just a great question. And I hope it does help people too, because it gives some insight to the struggles of even successful people that enter the tournament.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Though you haven't been around, maybe you've seen some of the attrition. What's like the number one reason that you think people quit the tournament?
I guess I can imagine if you start doing bad rounds.
Can get frustrating, yeah.
Or start staking for the first time and immediately after that it's a bad round. But yeah, okay, that could be a reason, right? Yeah, you need to stick and stay. But I can imagine if it takes for like 3-4 weeks and people are like, I'm losing my money, maybe I should really quit this.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, mitigating losses is certainly a reason. Time commitment, maybe they underestimate the amount of time it takes. Although I would suggest people use compute if time is a problem for you participating in the tournament, so that you don't have to be at your computer every Saturday or Sunday to run your models. And take a long view, of course. This is not a fast tournament. It's actually quite slow. And the evaluation period takes a long time. So I'm with you on that.
Example models too, right? So you can start with that. Your loss should be minimal.
Hopefully.
You don't change the example model too much. So then you should be okay.
Yeah. So this is like probably the most important question that I ask participants, because it gives people some insight into your thought process on development and getting into the tournament. So what are your top 3 tips for participating in the tournament?
Well, tip number 1, and that's something I really like, because my background is just automate everything, right?
Automate all the things.
Yeah, and sooner the better, actually, because it will just save you time in the end. I mean, just get that example model running and then do it in a way that you can, that it just doesn't cost you too much time to maintain. And it can be compute, but like me, I have my local server running. I just need to hit start the script on Saturday night, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, as long as your system works, then that's fine. Yeah. It's just we have a baked-in system that the team developed called Compute, and that's why I push that one for people. But if you have a homebrew system that works, by all means, that works too.
Yeah, and
that's one.
Not only prediction, but also your training part too. Yeah. You can automate that somehow, and I know that there are now some changes in the API for diagnostics. Maybe you can do even more automation with that. But okay, that's one tip. Yeah.
Number 2.
So take notes, right? But this one I also like. Just have your whiteboard in your room.
A whiteboard. So same kind of concept. Take notes. draw it out.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
but on the whiteboard, I will just put on, for example, my models on it, a list of the models, and so I can remember, okay, this model does that, this model does that, and also put some goals next to it, like what do I want to achieve the next couple of months, for example, and also what do I want to learn out of the tournament, because that's one of my biggest motivations to do the tournament, of course, the learning part.
Okay, so what's your third tip?
Don't lose money.
I don't know if that's a fair tip, but
Okay, now well, there is one. So I had some model running for some time, and we had some bad rounds, right? In the 270 something, I forgot the actual number, but then suddenly that model was not doing so well. I was like, oh my god, I need to save this one, get some stake on it. Let me put predictions of a different model that looks okay. Use that one instead. And of course, the round after that, the new predictions were not so okay anymore. So try to stick as long as possible to your model.
Be patient.
And don't change it.
So I'm gonna summarize that as to be patient.
Yeah. Even if it's burning a little bit, that's why.
And let's also not forget that the daily scores are not how we're resolving. It's an indication if we were to resolve today, this is what it might look like. But we're evaluated on basically a month-long window. So making decisions on that intra-period non-resolution data could be problematic. So I just caution people on it. But that's why the whole part about being patient is really important. Be patient.
Yeah.
So you said take notes, automate all the things, and be patient. I like it.
Don't get caught in switches. I see. Yeah.
Yep. That's a Southern thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Set and forget. That's what Alex says. All right. So that's 3 tips. What's your number one feature request or improvement for the tournament? And you're lucky because Anson's in the house. So it's going straight to the top, my friend.
Let's see. Well, I'm not sure they will do it, but I would really like to see more of the meta model information actually on the website.
There it is. That's
I'm curious how well are we doing compared to the meta model performance. I'm not talking in Numeraire, but I'm just talking in correlation and stuff like that. I'm really curious how big is the difference actually.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't know if they would do that. Would be nice.
Don't know. I'm gonna pass on that one, and I'm not gonna put Anson on the spot because that sounds quasi SEC territory stuff. So we're just gonna. Yeah. That's your request. We'll let that one fly on for now. But that's all good. It's all good. I like it. I would love to see it too. But my prior suggests it's going to be a very long time before that happens. But we'll see. Never know. Never know. All we can do is ask, right? So this one's controversial. It shouldn't be. It's just like a popularity contest. Who is your favorite team member?
It's a really difficult question. So I didn't meet all of them, of course. And I think they're all doing a great job, especially considering how small the team is. Must be really hard sometimes.
You have to pick somebody.
Okay, there are two names.
No, one.
Yeah, but Anson and Liam, and I choose between those two. Okay.
Oh boy.
My Fox.
All right, there it is. Finally,
yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, well, cool. And he's here, so that's great. It's awesome. So
yeah,
Slido Fox, butter him up a little bit, and then maybe he'll get meta model performance. I don't know. I'm gonna go with that's not gonna make a difference, but yeah, we'll see. Where do you get new ideas for your models?
Okay, so besides, of course, the famous place Rocket Chat forums, right, and various websites you can see with the different news. I would say I also go to the library once in a while. Just see some of the books there and see if I can find something that's like, oh, okay, I didn't see this before. Let's try it.
Nobody suggested going to the library. You're the very first person in 4 seasons, 48 episodes. Nobody has suggested going physically to the library and looking for books on various topics. So I think that's an awesome idea. Yeah, we can Google the things, but there's something tangible about a book and going and looking through a stack of books, seeing if there's anything there, because often content of books doesn't make it into Google. So that's actually a really good idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
It gets you
it's
out of the
also-
house too. We just talked about being chained to our desks. So
It's
a great way to get out.
How big is your library and is it any good? But one in Rotterdam
No.
over here, it's really good. It's really big, and it's actually also a nice place to sit and just read a little bit. So yeah.
No doubt. What are you working on now besides your dashboard?
Yeah, of course, the new data set, right?
Super massive data.
I mean, server is still running since last week.
It's getting hot in here, huh?
It's getting really hot. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to become a data scientist?
Well, let's say if you are just did high school, you probably need to just go to the university, right? And go to one of the new courses they also have here in the Netherlands. But let's say you're like me, you start later. I would think it's really also important to connect to some other data scientists, and preferably someone with some experience, because I think you can pick up more than just only reading online or doing online lessons and that kind of stuff. So also try to connect and try to exchange ideas, for example.
Yeah, maybe if there's a machine learning club on campus or some kind of meetup group for data science.
Yeah.
So you're saying the personal networking is important. Yeah, I like that. Get to know people in industry, find a mentor. Yeah, those are all really, really good ideas, definitely. But I like to ask this because maybe there's something I missed, because I don't know you yet. This is the point of the interview, right? But if you could step into my shoes, what would you ask yourself that I haven't already?
Well, you didn't ask about which beer do you like?
Which what?
Which beer do you like?
What beer do you like, sir?
Yeah, what beer do you like, right?
Well,
So
now you have to
also-
answer the question.
Okay, let's say Belgian beers, right? So
Whoa,
I would go for the one that's called Duvel.
yes, those are good.
Yeah, here you go. Don't
Good
take
pick.
too many, of course.
A double, triple, or a quad?
Well, if you want to have more than one, you should not go beyond double or triple. I guess.
Yeah, I concur. Yes, I concur. What's your favorite? Which one do you like the most?
The double, I think, if it's Duvel. Yeah.
I agree. I prefer the doubles. I found the triples are quite good, but that's a one and done. And a quad I just can't handle. They're too much. But a double, they're just delicious. They're a little darker in color. They have yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's a great segue into, perhaps, since you went to the library and you're sitting there chilling and you have your Belgian double and you're sipping on some brews and reading books. Do you have any book or paper recommendations for the folks?
Drinking beer at the library? Are you sure?
Why not? Just
Okay.
turning
bookies.
that handle over.
Yeah. So one of the books I got at the library is Live 3.0, I think. Yeah, that one was also from the library.
Life 3.0.
Yeah, the coders from Cliff. I think it's Cliff Thompson. I think he's called. Basically, it explains. It interviews different kind of software engineers, coders, and tell them about their life and what they did. And it's really interesting book. So I think I would go for those two books at least.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering my questions. We actually have 2 Slido questions. Let's take those first, and then we'll do your walkthrough. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you can help me with this, I doubt you'll be able to the first one, but we'll see. The question from Anonymous. I just started participating in the tournament after a long break when log loss was still the metric. How many are still around from that time? I would say a lot of people are still around from the log loss days. I couldn't give you a number. The team would be better equipped to answer that. But if you look through my interview series, you'll see that a lot of the OGs are still active. And just click through on some people and look for the people with a high medal count, because that does seem to correlate with time in tournament. And just look at their start date, like when the model first opened, and you'll see that there's still a lot of people, even from 2016, myself included, If you get really lucky, you'll stumble on somebody from 2015, though those are extremely rare, but they do exist. So a lot of people have stuck around for a long time, and I hope that everybody will, because there's room for everybody. And the changes happen at a slower pace than they did initially, which is pretty good for model stability. And yeah, I'd just encourage people to stick with it as best they can. Anonymous has a question. What is your impression of the data sources being used for the signals term? Is anyone using other data than price data? So QE, are you in the signals tournament yet?
No, I choose your battles, right? I mean, signals means, I just told you, right, about my financial background. This is not there.
That's right.
So
that's okay.
I think first to get the big data sets handled properly before I start with that.
A lot of people have said that, and that's fine. I think depending on your domain experience, that if you have quant finance experience, perhaps starting in signals and coming over to classic might be one way to do it, because you're going to be disappointed that you can't use traditional time series tools in the classic tournament. Conversely, if you're not familiar with quantitative finance, but you have good data science practices, the classic tournament might be a great way to go, just to your point there, QE. But I would say the impression of the data sources being used for signals without knowing the distribution of what sources are being used, I could really only go on the Yahoo Finance data set, since it's included in the example model. Some folks have found interesting anomalies in that pricing data feed, but it is free. And I think there's two ways to look at it, right? Fast, cheap, and good. Pick two. It won't be whatever's omitted. Okay. So it's free, therefore it's cheap. And it's fast. I don't think it's very good. Right? That's just my opinion, although a lot of people are using it. So, without knowing what people are using, it's very hard for me to opine on that, but I do encourage people to look for alternate data sources. I've offered in the past. If somebody's able to find a provider that gives global fundamental data and global pricing data for at least 85% of the total universe, I will share that person's referral code to the data provider and then just blast it, because I think a lot of people would want it. I do not believe that sharing such information would be deleterious to your performance, because the search space is so vast and everybody has different ideas of how to come to a working model. And so I would not be afraid to share data sources. So that's how I answered that question. But we'll go back to you, QE, because now I'd like for you to demo your awesome dashboard for us. Are you willing to do that for us, sir?
Let's share that screen. Let's see.
For my Twitch audience, you won't see our faces, but you'll see the screen share.
Here we go.
So this is on the Numerai beta website, correct?
Yeah, right. I think I would want to start first there, right? So this is the Numerai website. Honeycomb is busy with that, creating that. So it looks great. And yeah, he I think 2 weeks ago, no, 1.5 weeks ago, suddenly he also put the dashboard as part of the Numerai website. So you can go there and you just load it in.
Great.
Let's see, it will go. There we go. So part of the I did two things. He made it part of the website here. So the dashboard is now loading here. A little bit slower, I guess, because my PC probably.
Oh, scores just came out too. So
yeah, okay. Okay, so this is the dashboard. It's integrated in the website, but on the lower part there's also a link. I think I want to use that one. You will see the reason why. So open this link. It will just direct you to the dashboard itself. So it's running in Power BI Service from Microsoft for free, actually. Yeah. Now you see here the front page. So basically, the dashboard contains at the moment 10 pages. Of course, it's still in beta. I'm still adding some stuff and fixing some numbers. So if someone sees anything over there that's not correct, then please notify me so I can have a look at it. But yeah, let's just walk through each page and then see what's there. So this is the main page. It just contains the rounds, and it's updated daily actually, and daily would be 7 o'clock UTC time in my case. So then it will be updated, and it uses the API from Numerai, and then it will display here. So basically, you see here all the resolving and resolved rounds, well, including the number, the status, how much is at stake, how much payouts in that round is done, and also the average correlation of all those models in that specific round. You will see here, you see at the top right, 281. It's still blank here in 0. That's because that round just started. So it needs to be updated. So probably tomorrow you will see different numbers for the staking and the payout.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So on the bottom here, you also have summarized all the rounds that are known. I think it's the API starts at 160, 170 actually.
That sounds like the start of Kazutsugi, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah, of course, way before my time, but
that makes sense though. Yeah, because that's when we switched to correlation as the score.
Yeah, that's probably also how the API now works. That's the start date. And also the totals are here for that, and also the correlation for all those rounds. You can see here also the number, the total at stake in this case per round, and also you can also just go over it. You can also get a tooltip with the date now. I also added that lately. And you can also see here the payout per round number. So this is just like the general overview. And of course, a lot of those numbers are also present at the normal website.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's just go to the next page, top 10. Now, of course, this is a bit, you can have a discussion about what the scores should be. But so basically what I did is all the medals, gold, silver, and bronze. I just gave them a number. I already changed a little bit. So gold is 5 points, silver 3, and bronze 1. I just use that, add them up, and you get the score here. And I did that for the correlation and MMC. So there are different versions. This one is like all time. So based on all the data that's there, average, and there's also some others here too. Correlation score, all time, MMC scores, most earned, Numeraire, all time, and also in average too. And also over here, you have payout versus stake. So basically, percentage, how much did you stake and how much did you get out of it? Now with the dashboard, you can also, for example, if I go to the top one, it's maybe the most interesting, because I think a lot of people would probably also think like, yeah, okay, the score, but I'm more curious about how much medals did you get. You can also click everything. So basically, if I click on it, it will sort again, and then you will get it sorted on the number of medals.
Got it.
So you can play around with it. There are a lot of options here. You just click and see what happens, and you can always refresh again here, and then it will start with the default settings. So that's the way it works. So I can look at the number of medals, for example. Ben 11 is quite high actually, and I think it has to do mainly because he has a lot of silver and bronze. So basically a lot of, I think it was bronze was 85% percentile and 90, I think, something like that.
Right.
He has a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, bronze is 85 and up, and then silver's 95, gold is 99.
Yeah. Well, let's see if there's another example. Oh yeah, this one. The integration test 6 apparently has a high percentage payout versus stake. Yeah, it's also interesting. Doesn't mean you get a lot out of it. Maybe they didn't put a lot of stake in it, but percentage-wise, it's quite high. So it's quite interesting. But yeah, you can scroll to it.
That's great.
Every model is in it in this one. So I use all the data. Let's see, because you can also do some stuff with your own models if you want.
Right, so this is on page 3 of the dashboard.
Yeah,
it's just a little cutoff on the Twitch screen in case people are watching over there.
Okay. On the bottom also, you can also click here.
Great. Yep.
Then you can get the menu. You can just go directly to the one that you want. In this case, we're on the models page. Over here, you can select your own models. So basically what you can do, you can, for example, select several of mine. I just take this one, for example, and this one, and let's see one that was really bad. Over here, you can see on the left side which ones are selected.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this is check like, okay, I select these 3, and the next pages will use that selection. So if I go to the next one. So this is the leaderboard that you also have on the website. The biggest difference here is I display all the different data that is available. I think it was, I think state rank and rank, for example, is there, but the previous one is not there. And I think the payout information is also not displayed on the website, probably to make it look more readable. But I put everything in it.
Thank you.
So this, yeah. So this one is filtered on the models you select on the previous page. And the other one here, that's the full list. So this is from every model, and there are also some slices here. So you can also, for example, say, look, I just want to see the models that have the biggest return in 3 months, for example, and then you can get that list. So you can.
That's cool. I like that, being able to slice on different parameters. Yeah, that's great.
That's one of the biggest. I think this is Power BI is one of the best things they have actually with the slicing part. A lot of people, I think, also use it, and yeah, it makes it possible to quickly select, filter, select what you want to see. The same here, of course. You can also sort here on the different columns if you want. So that is at least this one, the leaderboard part. Now the next one is it's a bit tricky. This is the ranking for your models. Fortunately, I have still a little issue here.
Oh yeah, the axis is the vertical axis looks flipped.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah, this is a let's call it a little issue with Power BI, and a lot of people complain about it. So
just live TV, folks. These things happen. It's okay.
Yeah, but it's also meant to keep in mind the lower the better. So
indeed, yes. Yeah. Just an inverted scale. That's okay.
Yeah, same here. You have a slice here, but then it's based on the date. So you can also, well, in my case, of course, I started late, so I should do it like this. You can also slice it on the date. And also, let's say you want to add some more models here, it's also possible.
Okay, yeah, so if you wanted to add more and you don't have to flip back to the third page, got it.
Yeah, so yeah, you can just add it here, and then
that makes sense.
Here also, and you get to the other one here too. Yeah. So this is for the correlation, MMC, same part, and also the FNC is here.
Okay. So this is page 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next page is, yeah, I call it rise and fall, but basically tells you the differences on certain metrics in a month or week time. So, for example, here, a ranking change in 1 month. So basically, Dong Dong Cat. His position,
okay.
Yeah, his position went up 3,500 spots. And
yeah, they probably have 18 weeks now or something. That's usually when the biggest jump occurs, is when you enter 18th round.
When they have a gap. I also saw if they didn't submit one round, you also can get these weird changes. And if you look at the page, you see like, whoa, you really went up suddenly 1,000 spots in the day, for example. Yeah.
Yep.
But you have this for the month, you have the week, the MMC part, and the same for the return, 30-week return. You can also see the increases and, well, basically decreases, because you can also go down, of course, like this.
Right, yeah.
Just look it up. I'm thinking also maybe I just need to filter on username somehow. But okay, at least the data is there. Now this is the round performance. It's also similar to what's on the normal website. I will just So you have the correlation and the correlation percentile here for your selected models. Same for the MMC part here and the FNC part. You can also over here, this one here, you can select a specific round, for example. And then to filter based on just that round, you will see the correlation of your selected models. And I can also do it like this. With the control, I can add more and see, because it adds up, right? This is for all the correlation total. You can see how well it goes. And you also see it here. It will also filter here again.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's one part here. It's a little thing here I need to fix. This is not average, but basically this is for all the models. So this is the average correlation per round number for all the models in it. Also,
yeah, I remember when we started Kazutsugi, the very start of the tournament, it was really rough for like several weeks. And you can see it in your first graph, the average Corr by round number, when you open it up to the beginning of time. You see the strongest dip is around what, 170? Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. So if you came into the tournament late, consider yourself lucky. That's why a lot of us are so risk averse. We have seen sometimes, my friend.
This was way before my time.
But no, that's great. This is fantastic because you get the whole history. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then this one is correlation with the meta models, also available on the API. Quite interesting actually to see how it fluctuates over time. Yep. Of course, this one average MFC multiply, it should be here 0. I need to.
Yeah, that's because you went to all time. Yeah.
Because it was later, I think. Stop picking up now. Okay. My bad. Here we go. Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah. So around to, I think it started.
Yeah, when MMC came out.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, average multiply, you can also see it. I think that's it for this page. The next one probably is, I think, the most interesting one. Payout performance.
So this is like a earn and burn underwater kind of chart. Is that what that is?
Yeah, exactly. So you can see that after 270, because let me remove this one. These were some of my models, and you can see 272, and later I got into real trouble.
Feels bad,
like
man.
Yeah, like well, it's not that bad, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is per round at least. You can see. You can also see it over here in the table, and also cumulative. I also have, so you can see over time.
That's cool.
Yeah. And again, you can do it per round number if you want. You can play with this one. The other one here is related. So this is a percentage. Again, you can see how well you were doing. And over here, this part is again for all the models. So this is the payout per round number and the payout factor. I think that one is also in the first page, also available. That's here again. And the next one here, I think this is one of the things that you requested with the net overflow. So this is the total selected stakes, the difference between previous rounds and the total payout, and also how much goes in and out.
Awesome. Yeah, that was one I was just curious about, and I explained multiple times. I simply didn't have time to run that analysis myself, and you kind of just picked it up and ran with it, and it's really cool. I'd just love to see it. It's an interesting data point. A lot of people think that there's no withdrawals. People just let it ride, and that's not true. You can see that very clearly in this data table. Yes, there's periods of inflows, but there's definitely periods of outflows too.
Yeah, yeah.
Very interesting.
Let's see. Next page.
Page 9, all right.
9, yeah. So this is again the total number of stakes per round. And this is a total stake per round. How many stakes and how many Numeraire was used. And the same goes again here for the payouts, in this case per round number and factor again. This is just the below. This is just the raw data again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to download that table if somebody wanted to do their own analysis? Like, is there a download button through the dashboard?
Yeah, I was actually looking at it. I know if you use so basically you need the Power BI desktop application. That's how I designed it. And I publish it to the service. I know in the Power BI desktop you have the option here that you can download it to CSV, for example. I have to have a look at it because over here I don't see it yet, but it could be because I'm running on free license. So
probably.
I'm guessing this is one of those limits. But I'll have a look if it's possible. And yeah. Okay, this is so the last page. This is from Coinbase. I also put price data here. Basically, cool. This is the one that you can also do yourself. And you can also again here slice it per date if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also the volume per date. And the raw data again here, if you want to have a look at it. You do see that I need to do some visual stuff here, but okay. Now this is the current version. However, there is also a website. Hopefully you can see it also like this. I'm now at the GitHub website. I'm curious if you can see it if I switch tabs.
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's all open source. So basically, in this GitHub, I'll put it also in the forum. There's also for example, direct link to the current latest version of the Power BI desktop, but also the report behind it. You could also download it over here. That's the same version. Basically, if you would install Power BI desktop yourself, which is for free actually, and you open this one, it will automatically download, and you could even play with it yourself. You could even add your own measures and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, of course, you do need to learn a little bit about how Power BI tool works, of course, but at least it's possible to do.
I like it.
Yeah. And I think that's also the end of the demo.
Okay.
Except if you want to see something else, and I don't know if someone wants to see something specific.
Let's see if we have any questions in Zoom chat. Rigorock says, how about a Corr +2 MMC ranking? Yeah, for those with the higher leverage.
Yeah, that's also a good thing. And actually, I want to add some more parts. I remember from one of the other people, I think his name is Machine Learning is Life, I think.
Oh, ML is Life, yeah. Mm-hmm.
ML is Life. So yeah, he made a really nice Python script. So actually you can just select your models, and then you can just after that select whether or not correlation times 1 MMC times 2 and see how it would be for your models. And actually, I think I also want to include that over here, that you can just select here and see what would have been your performance if you would have chosen differently, because that's really looked a nice back also. And also, yeah, the ranking too. The other thing I'm still thinking about is maybe make our own meta model performance in here. Just use the data from every user and see if I, for example, use the example models as a baseline, how well are we doing compared to the example model? Because that's something
I don't like looking at that anymore because it hurts my feelings half the time. Yeah, it's a good model, it's tough to beat.
Yeah.
Well, Kiwi, thank you. We don't have questions remaining, but I guess I can filibuster for a little bit, see if anybody wants to post something new in the short term here.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank QE Intelligence for joining me today. I'm talking very slow in case somebody wants to drop a question in at the last minute. But seeing none, I'll let everybody go. I bet people want to get to work and look at their daily scores. I want to also thank Pedro and Anson for joining us today. Rig Rock, thanks for joining us with camera on. Appreciate you joining too. Notifying us about daily scores. QE, you built an awesome dashboard. Thank you. I like it a lot. Loads quick. It's easy to use. And I'm sure you're going to add more features to it. Can't wait to see what you come up with. That's what I have for you today, folks. This was season 4, episode 13, Office Hours Arbitrage. My guest, QE_intelligence. Thank you very much for joining me. And hey, everybody, may the burn be in your favor. See you next week. Adios, everybody. Bye.